Your sister can help us.
Mira
Although
to me is
just a
one of the more
handmaiden, she
interesting
has Margaery
characters here to
Tyrell's
play as.
favour.
She's
And
got a
Lady
lot of
Margaery's
the
betrothal
Sansa
to the
thing going
king
on.
may
People
be
have,
enough to keep the
compared
Boltons at
her
bay,
to
if it's
Sansa's
presented to
captivity
her
there.
as it should be.
And I was determined in my first playthrough to play it a little bit smarter than Sansa plays it. Just be more, just more cunning, I guess, in general. Play the game, so to speak. And so my first playthrough, I don't really think I did a good job of that, so I'm going to try and do a better job of that this time around.
It was very kind of Lady Margaery to give this to me.
Yeah, so she's a handmaid for Lady Margaery, who's probably one of my favorite characters on Game of Thrones. She's just so,
Even
I don't
make
know.
this for me.
She's so, I don't know even what I'm looking for. She's just so good at the, like, I'm gonna play the game in my own sneaky little way. The Tyrells in general are good at that.
Essos.
Let's read this unfinished letter.
Father, much excitement here in King's Landing for the coming wedding. Lady Margaery has proven to be quite popular throughout the city. I do wish you and Mother could come.
She's really popular. Everybody loves Margaery.
Although I know it would be impossible under the circumstances. I miss all of you, and I look forward to the day you can.
See, the problem is, she's asked to stand for her family in a place that is really hostile to what her family was a part of, and there's really no way you can do that.
Wonders Made by Man, by Lomas Longstrider. A gift from
The
Roderick.
best way to play the game is to, for her at least, in my opinion, I think is just to swear off her family as much as possible, even though she loves them. It's the only way she can save herself, and maybe even save her family. But let's look out this window.
King's Landing. I wonder if it's sunny at Ironrath today.
It's never sunny anywhere anymore. Except if you're with Daenerys in the middle of the desert.
It troubles me to even ask this of you, but you must appeal to Lady Margaery to intervene on our behalf. She is our best hope, and can be a powerful ally, especially now when your family so desperately needs her help.
I think I'm gonna make friends with this boy here who's about to enter.
Oh, sorry, milady.
As much as I can.
didn't mean to disturb you.
It's just like, I think a well-known fact that you need to, like, befriend the sort of...
No, it's fine.
The lesser people who see a lot of things. This guy sees a lot of things. He's bringing the, he's the hot coals for the braziers, to all the rooms, for heating purposes. So he's seen and heard a lot of things.
Pardon, milady, but
so I think it might be a good idea to try and get him under my belt.
If you don't mind my asking, you seem rather upset.
I'm just worried about my family.
Ah, letter from home, is it?
It's kind of you to ask.
Of course, milady. You've always been kind to me.
Please hurry if you can. Lady Margaery will be here any minute.
Of course, milady. You work for Lady Margaery? I may be wrong, but it seems like you do.
It's widely known that I work for Lady Margaery.
I've seen you with her before. You seem like good friends. I saw Lady Margaery just this morning, outside the Royal Sept, talking to Queen Cersei.
Cersei?
This is gonna go so well.
They appeared to be having some sort of disagreement. I couldn't hear much, but...
What did they say?
I couldn't make out much, but I know they were talking about the Starks and House Forrester.
House Forrester?
I hope you're not in any kind of trouble. But I thought you ought to know. Most people don't tend to notice a call boy. Not in King's Landing, with so many lords and ladies about. You see and hear all sorts of things when people don't even know you're there. Good night, milady.
Very useful indeed. And it's Margaery!
Lady Margaery, you're early.
I was hoping there would be time for us to talk. Come, there's something we must discuss. From the day you arrived in Highgarden, I've thought of you more as a friend than as my handmaiden. A dear friend, in fact.
Thank you, my lady.
And you know how I feel about what's happened to your family. I feel your pain as if it were my own. What you've suffered is beyond imagining.
You're very kind, my lady.
Of course, Mira, but you must not despair. We will get through this together.
She is very kind. This is why
You
we
must
all love
understand
Margaery.
there are limits to what I can say, especially here in King's
She's
Landing,
kind
now
and
that I am
cunning.
to be queen. To have a handmaiden from the north whose family fought for Robb Stark. It raises questions at a time I can least afford. Cersei herself cornered me this morning outside the Royal Sept. She mentioned the northern girl in my service, and she painted you a traitor. She was
But I'm
very
not a
pleased with
traitor.
herself.
How did you respond?
I told her you are one of my most trusted handmaidens, that you can hardly be blamed for the actions of your father and brother. Nonetheless, she demands an audience. She wants
Yeah.
an
So
apology
this is where
of
things
some
go badly
sort.
very
For what,
quickly.
I don't know, but she's waiting for us now, and I promised I would bring you to her. I wouldn't ask this of you if it were not important. I cannot afford any conflict with Cersei with the wedding so near.
What do I say?
Find a way to appease her.
Yeah,
Humor
this is
her.
what's
Tell
difficult.
her what she wants to hear. See if the Queen Regent is ready to receive us.
This is where playing the game gets difficult. Because Cersei is like a master of the game. Infamously, it's her quote that Game of Thrones comes from. You know, it's
You'll be fine.
when you play
I
the
know
Game
you
of
will.
Thrones, you live or you
You
die.
may feel one thing,
And
but you must
Cersei
say
lives
another.
by those words.
Good luck.
Or should I say, it's you win or you die. Alright, well, let's see how this goes. I.e., not well. So we got,
You can do this.
Tyrion and Cersei waiting for us at the end of this throne room. Not sitting on the Iron Throne, but, you know.
Ah, Lady Margaery. Aren't you looking lovely this evening?
Lord Tyrion. Your Grace? With your permission, allow me to introduce Lady Mira of House Forrester.
Time to give a deep curtsy.
Your Grace.
The Queen is
Girl
pleased.
knows her courtesies. Impressive. You may rise.
House Forrester is a northern house loyal to the king.
Are they?
I beg your pardon, Your Grace.
I wasn't talking to you. I want to hear from the girl. Is your family loyal to the king?
Perhaps you should ask the new Lord Forrester.
He's not here, is he? She is.
Joffrey is the one true king, Your Grace.
And yet, for centuries the Forresters have been loyal bannermen to House Stark. A house of traitors.
Yes, Your Grace. They are traitors.
The Starks were your liege lord, yet you name them traitors so easily. I take it this is the kind of loyalty the king can expect from you. if you have any loyalty at all. Is your house willing to swear fealty to your new liege lord, Roose Bolton?
Roose Bolton also served the Starks, Your Grace.
And proved his loyalty to the crown by bringing their house to a swift and sudden end. Old allegiances are not easily abandoned. But now that the war is over, we must look to rebuild and forge new alliances. There are ships and shields to be built, and Joffrey will need a steady supply of ironwood for his armies. I'm told there are others who would happily serve that purpose, but I trust we can rely on House Forrester.
Forrester Ironwood does seem rather unique.
Our talent is unrivaled, Your Grace. Forrester Ironwood is highly sought after in the Seven Kingdoms.
So I'm told. It would be a shame to see it fall into the hands of another house. I imagine you'd do almost anything to prevent that from happening, wouldn't you? Ask any Lannister, and they'd do whatever was necessary to save Casterly Rock. It would be unfortunate to see another house lay claim to what's yours.
There are limits, Your Grace.
Perhaps, but not if your house faces potential ruin.
What would you have the girl do, Cersei? It's not as if she fought beside the Starks, wielding a battle axe for the Northern Army.
That would be awesome if I did.
It raises an interesting question, I suppose. Can we truly blame those who end up on the wrong side of the war? Our dear Margaery here was betrothed to Renly Baratheon on the false assumption that he would one day rule the Seven Kingdoms. Can we fault her for her mistake? Should she be held accountable?
She was just following her heart, Your Grace.
And the very same heart so quickly led her to my son.
If there's a point to this, I hope you find it quickly.
Loyalty can be such a hard thing to define. This city alone is filled with all sorts of ambitious opportunists looking to reinvent themselves, pretending to be something they're not. Who knows what lurks within their hearts? You are a girl from the north here in service to Lady Margaery. One can only assume her interests are yours. Yet loyalty to a king, that must be absolute, beyond question. And if your loyalties were to become conflicted between your king and the very person whom you serve, what would you do then?
I'm sure she would...
Let the girl answer the question.
My loyalties would never conflict, Your Grace.
That's a coward's answer. I will not have my time wasted by a northern girl who thinks she can play games. Who do you choose?
Well, of course I have to pick my king, so...
The king, of course.
Well said. I was beginning to worry you didn't have your priorities straight.
And you see, they throw that little Margaery will remember thing like it's like, you know...
to the crown, isn't she?
You know, like it's a shade or something on you, like she's gonna get mad at you. But, you know, Margaery knows how it's played. She knows what she's doing.
My sense is this girl will say almost anything to get what she wants. Which is not very encouraging. I'd like a word with you, if I may.
Of course, Your Grace.
And she gives me the glary eyes there, but only because she has to.
I'll walk you out. This may come as a surprise, but I met your father once, at the tourney at Lannisport. Even then he didn't trust Roose Bolton. We only spoke briefly, but your father struck me as an honorable man. You have my condolences for his loss. These would be trying times for your family, even under the best of circumstances.
Thank you, Lord Tyrion. That's very kind of you to say.
That certainly took courage. To so publicly declare your loyalty to Joffrey for all to hear. Poor Lady Margaery was humiliated, although
Yes.
Cersei seemed quite pleased. It was quite the first impression. I, of course, found it all highly entertaining.
I did it for Lady Margaery.
Rather odd, if that's what she asked of you. But I'm sure she has your best interests at heart. My sister and I have our differences. She takes great pleasure in her little charades. I take mine in thwarting them. We must find our amusements where we can.
Yes.
She threatened to give your ironwood to another house. It is the Master of Coin who... need wood, and I speak for the crown in this regard, not her.
What are you suggesting?
I suppose the crown could be persuaded to secure ironwood from House Forrester. Lady Margaery might not look favorably on such an alliance, and it would infuriate Cersei. Although what would be amusing for me might prove rather dangerous for you and your house. Are you willing to risk that?
It's a risk I'm willing to take, Lord Tyrion. Please.
You are a brave girl, aren't you? I'll consider it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I promised Sansa I would join her for dinner tonight. 3 beautiful bottles of Dornish wine await my arrival. The mere thought of them makes me thirsty already.
I hope we meet again.
Nothing would make Cersei happier. Until then, be careful. This is not the North. King's Landing can be a nest of vipers to the uninitiated.
It's time to become initiated, then.
Mira, I was worried. How was it? Cersei has a way of looking at you as though you're nothing. It's more than a little intimidating.
It went well.
Really? That's a relief.
We're gonna lie to her
Cersei is
about
known
this.
for being rather
Keep this girl in the
difficult.
dark.
Lady Margaery has spent the entire day working on seating arrangements for the wedding. Of course, you and I are seated way at the back, here with the 4th cousins and the 9th-born sons. Sir Jaime, I wouldn't mind tarnishing that white cloak of his.
Sarah!
What? It's true. And Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper. I'm told he has a paramour.
Put it back.
We're just having a bit of fun. That's probably for the best. I've heard he's a bit perverse. Perhaps Lady Margaery could make the right introductions. Who knows? We might meet our future husbands. Although, marrying a king, I can only imagine what that would be like.
That just... it seems to go
Would you
so well for
marry
everybody who
Joffrey
does.
if it meant you'd become queen? He does have a certain look about him, and he's always treated Lady Margaery well. Which is more than you can say for his
We're gonna
mother.
stay silent on this one.
Well, I would marry him. Imagine the power you would have as Queen of the 7 Kingdoms. I might even allow you to be my handmaiden. Let's see.
This
Who
girl.
else should we marry off? Brienne of Tarth and Tyrion Lannister. What a perfect match. Sir Bronn and...
What are you doing? Well?
I tried to move them back, my lady.
This is not a game. It's a battle plan. Allies and enemies can be made with every move. Yet they say it is men who are powerful.
I love that.
The Queen was pleased by your display, Mira. I'm just glad it's over. King's Landing can be
Margaery knows what's up.
exhausting sometimes. There's always someone to please or some perceived slight to smooth over.
Mm-hmm.
I fear it will only get worse when I am queen.
Once they know your true heart, the lords and ladies will have no choice but to love you.
Do you agree?
It doesn't matter what you feel. It only matters what you say.
You learn very quickly. Your words to Cersei were brave, but I know you must fear what the Boltons might do to your family. I do appreciate your willingness to appease her, as difficult as it may have been.
Thank you, my lady. There's been something on my mind. Something important.
I think I'm gonna not ask her for help, though, on this playthrough. Just to see what happens. Last time I did ask her for help, And it goes as predictably as you think it would. There's not much Margaery can do. She's not really in a place of granting favors. So I think I'm just not going to ask her for her help anyway and figure out what I can do on my own accord.
My mother wanted me to ask a favor of you. For my family. But as you said, you're in a delicate position now with the wedding so near. And I would never want to jeopardize that.
Soon I will be queen. And maybe then I'll be in a better position to help you. But for now we must both be cautious.
Of course, my lady. You're right. Better to wait.
It's depressing, but it has to be done.